Hello, everybody, and with today we got the Carolina Panthers coming. Well, I guess we're going to the Panthers, but we got the Panthers. And they're 18th in total offense with 328.7 yards a game, 25th in passing offense, even though some people think Cam Newton's like extremely good. Only 200.9 yards a game, and their offensive line is tied for 15th in sacks allowed, allowing 28. And they had the 5th rushing offense, which one can expect with McCaffrey, Jonathan Stewart, and Cam Newton, averaging 127.8 yards a game, and they are tied for 11th at 4.2 yards a carry, and they have the 6th third down offense in the entire league at 44%. Now their defense, they're very similar to us. Defense is more their calling card than their offense is. And they are 6th in total defense, allowing only 297.6 yards a game. 7th in passing, and they allow 209 yards a game. But something I thought was interesting, that's why I kind of wrote it down here, 22nd in quarterback rating. So you can tell that obviously they're known for zones. This is another zone team. They're going to let you catch it, and then that's where the rating comes in. You can catch it, but you're not getting any yards after. And it has to do with that great linebacking core that they have there between the 3 linebackers that they got. Obviously, Luke Kuechly and Thomas Davis, and the guy I think people tend to forget about is the guy they drafted in the first round not too long ago in Shaq Thompson out of Washington. So, but yeah, so they allow 94.6 on the quarterback rating, and they are tied 5th in sacks with 34 on the year, so that's 2.8 sacks a game. And 4th in rushing defense, 88.6 yards allowed, but they are tied for 13th in allowing 4 yards a carry. So you might be able to run effectively on them. And they are tied for 8th in third down defense at 36% of the time they are not getting off of the field. So the injury report. Mike Adams, he was on a rest, so he's going to play. Mike Adams, a safety, he's kind of old. That's why he got the rest. Kalen Clay, a deep threat / return guy. I don't know if anyone saw the return against the Jets, but that's what he's capable of. He got a punt return. I think he spun out a guy and then juked out another, then just ran down the sideline. And that ended up really putting the game away. So Kalen Clay, he did not practice on Wednesday, was limited today. I imagine he's going to be questionable, but he'll probably go since he's such a role player. He doesn't play too much, so I imagine they're not too worried about him getting a major injury out of this. And Tyler Larson, more of a backup center to Ryan Khalil, has a foot injury, did not practice the past 2 days. I would imagine he's going to be either questionable or doubtful. And either way, even if he's questionable, it backs up Ryan Khalil, who is also on this. But it's kind of assumed Ryan Khalil is going to make a return this week. So Tyler Larson, probably just the backup guy. And if Khalil goes down again, then that's going to be a severe problem. Julius Peppers had a rest, so not really hurt. Jonathan Stewart, he has a foot problem. He didn't practice yesterday, but he had a full practice today, but he's a little dinged up. And Shaq Thompson, that linebacker I was talking about, did not practice either day with a foot injury himself. So I doubt he might go. Well, he might go, but I still have my doubts on him going just because he didn't practice for 2 days. And then Thomas Davis has a hamstring. He's limited in both, so Thomas Davis banged up. Ryan Khalil, talked about him a little bit just a few seconds ago. He has a neck injury still, and he was limited the past 2 days. So with their two top centers being banged up, that could be a problem, especially when you're talking about Linval Joseph right in the middle. So Cam Newton, right shoulder, he's on the injury report. I'm pretty sure he's appeared every week because I recall them talking about this down all the way back in the preseason, talking about how big of a deal this is. So Cam Newton, right shoulder injury, limited in both, but he's going to go. We all know he's going to go. And then Devin Funchess, Christian McCaffrey, and Greg Olsen were all full goes. So I imagine they're just dinged up, and they're going to play. Now, on to our guys. 5th in total offense at 370.4 yards a game. 13th in passing offense, 247.6 yards a game. They are second in sacks allowed, allowing only 14, sixth in rushing offense, 122.8 yards a game. But this is the misleading part of it. We're tied for 20th in terms of yards per carry at only 3.9, which I find maybe we can find some effectiveness, even though they're the they're the fourth rushing defense. My bad. But they allow 4.0 yards a carry. So maybe we can get in there a bit. So we're first and third down offense now after the Falcons game where they were first and they went for 1 for 10, and so we got 46%. I don't know where the Falcons fell, but we're second in total defense now, and 289.1 yards allowed a game with the 10th passing offense, 211.4 yards a game. And since I put in quarterback rating for the Panthers, I thought it would be fair if I said ours, and ours is 9th in the league, allowing an 80.6 rating per quarterback. And we are 14th in sacks with 30, with 2.5 sacks a game is being averaged. And then we have the second rushing defense, 77.7 yards allowed a game. It's a nice number to be able to remember, 3 sevens. And we are third in the league with the yards per carry at 3.5, and I believe we're tied with, I want to say Philly, but I'm not entirely sure who we're tied with, but I know we're tied third. And our injury report looks like this. David Morgan passed concussion protocol, so he didn't practice Wednesday, was limited today, but I imagine he'll be a go. Mike Rimmer's low back, didn't practice either days. He's not going to go again. He's going to miss a fifth straight game, I would imagine, and Rashad Hill will fill in at right tackle. Pat Elflein shoulder limited in both. I imagine he'll go. CJ Ham had a full practice both days. He'll go. Linval with a knee. He had full practice each day, so he's going to be a go. Andrew Sendejo had a shoulder injury, full practice each day. He's going to go, I would imagine. And then you have Eric Kendricks with a hip. He's a full go. And Shamar Stephen and Mackenzie Alexander didn't practice Wednesday and were limited today. I imagine Alexander will go. Stephen, I can see Jaleel Johnson being activated for this game because Stephen isn't the best of players. And Mackenzie Alexander is essentially a starter and that nickel role. And even if he can't go, we still have Terrence Newman to play that spot. So all in all, that should be a wash with those two. And then, so back onto the actual game stuff. For the offense, the running game could get a little stagnant, which is, yeah, this could be bad for Keenum, because Keenum hasn't had a game where he's had no running game, essentially. So what this could be is he may have to fit the ball into some tight windows, and it should be interesting to see how this plays out, because he hasn't been asked to do that yet, but he might be asked to do that in this game. As I said, we could get an effective running game going as they allow 4.2 yards a carry, but there's still a chance the running game could get a little lethargic somewhere in this game. So, but that doesn't mean abandon the running game. So we still need to just try to wear them down a bit just because of how good this defense is. The secondary is a little bit of a concern for them, so you probably could see some more running to set up more play action shot kind of plays where we might take advantage of some things over the middle and maybe their corners that aren't named James Bradbury, because Bradbury's coming along pretty well, but everyone else in that secondary is not the best. So this is mainly a zone defense, though, as I said before. So I would think a lot of 2 and 3 wide receiver tight end sets where we're attacking linebackers who are not named Kuechly, especially with Thomas Davis and Shaq Thompson being on the injury report and they're dinged up. You could attack those 2 spots, especially going laterally. So maybe some slants, some middle crossers. Just attack the middle of the field. As long as 59 isn't there, you're good to go. And then I feel like on offense, we really shouldn't have too many issues as long as Keenum plays within himself and plays similar to how he did last week. I thought last week he played a very good game. I think he played pretty much, it's a very similar style of defense. It's not as fast. Like this one's more power than it is speed. So it's a little harder to run on them. But for the most part, the defenses are kind of similar in the fact that they love to run zone plays. So as long as he just takes what they're giving him, we shouldn't have a problem. So, but this should be another grinded kind of game like last week. I don't think there's going to be too many points scored in this game with two of the better defenses in the league. And, well, in between the 20s, but I'll touch base on that pretty soon. But yeah, it's going to be another grind, not much scoring. And this is really the last prove-it game for Case Keenum. Like, I feel like if he wins this game, like, even if Zimmer doesn't say he's the starter for the rest of the year, we can end Teddy Bridgewater talk. As long as he doesn't look like trash this game, he's the guy. And like I said before, we're going to be hitting on in between the 20s, like I said, with Carolina. We are the 8th scoring red zone offense, and they're the 27th red zone defense. So if we get it down there, we're probably going to end up scoring a touchdown, which is kind of nice. So it's just a matter of can we move it on them in between the 20s, which I'm not sure if we can do that consistently throughout the game. Thus why I think it's still going to be very low scoring. And one thing I wanted to touch base on at the end here was Hill versus Mario Addison. I know no one knows of Mario Addison, or at least not too many know of Mario Addison. He's not a slouch kind of player. He is actually an effective edge rusher, and we got Rashad Hill, not Mike Remmers in there, so another actual test for Rashad Hill. And the more I see Rashad Hill, the more I think if Berger retires next year, what are the odds we see Mike Remmers flipped into the inside to right guard and we just roll with Rashad Hill at right tackle? Leave comments about that if you have any ideas about this. And then defensively, the last 2 times we have faced Carolina, we've actually shut them down pretty well, only scoring 13 and 10 points. 13 points in 2014 and 10 points last year. One of them was on the road, and that was last year, where we picked off Cam 3 times and sacked him 8. So, yeah, but we need to stop the run of this team first and foremost. Everything goes to the run, as you saw with their 25th passing defense, but their 5th passing offense with their 5th rushing offense. So 25th and 5th, quite the difference. And so they like to run the ball. They like to get Cam out in space. They like to get McCaffrey out in space, but I feel like they don't know how to use him at all. I hated that pick. I didn't think Rivera would be creative enough with him, and he hasn't been. But I digress. So, but we need to stop the running game and force Cam Newton to throw. And Cam Newton, he's an average quarterback. Actual quarterbacking, like throwing the ball, he is an average at best quarterback. So I feel like we need to actually just force it into his hands. To me, he's not an elite quarterback. I don't know if that's some hot take, but he's not. So force him to have the ball in his hands, make him throw it against these tight windows that we can force with Xavier Rhodes and Terrence Newman and Trey Waynes, Harrison back there. We can force some tight windows, especially with the pressure we can get. So, and then we have to have disciplined rushes when facing Cam Newton, just because if he finds a lane, he will run. He's a runner first and foremost. So we need to discipline that. We need to contain. We can't just pin our ears back and pretend like he's some pocket passer, because he's not. He's going to run on you, and he may run some people over if he reaches that second level. Because we're talking about a 250, 260-pound quarterback that can actually run in the 4.8s, if not the 4.7s at this point. So that's a guy that you need to be concerned about. And then they have some pieces banged up here with Funchess McCaffrey, Ryan Khalil, Stewart Larson, Kalen Clay, and Newton. So we might be able to take advantage of some of these things. And I would specifically point to the offensive line, just because they have 2 of them at the same spot. So if one goes down, does Larson not suit up? Because he didn't even practice this week thus far. So he may not even suit up, and if he goes down again, they have a really bad problem. And then you have the other Khalil versus Everson Griffin. And our good old friend Matt Khalil, he's still struggling. And Everson Griffin, he can take full advantage of this. They need to chip him. I think they need to do a lot of things to stop Everson Griffin in this game. You can't just simply, Matt Khalil, take it. It's like, that's not going to work. Everson's a near all-pro, if not all-pro, kind of defensive end. So you really need to actually give him help. And if they don't, it's going to be a long day. And I anticipate him getting at least 2 in this game. I can't see Everson not leaving this game without at least 2 sacks. And then going back to the red zone things, they have the 18th red zone offense. We have the 3rd ranked red zone defense. So we could get some field goals out of them and not allow touchdowns, even if they are able to move it throughout the 20s. So I say if they start moving it a little bit, don't get worried. The red zone, usually we clamp down. So it's nothing to be worried about. And then the other thing I wanted to say was this could be the first pick 6 of the year that we get from the Vikings, because we picked off Cam 4 times in the last 2 games that we've played the Panthers. So picking off Cam Newton isn't really that hard of an idea to think of. We picked him off 3 times last time we played him, and that was in Charlotte, and this is in Charlotte again. But so we could see the very first pick 6 of the year from the Minnesota Vikings, and my prediction is we'll win this 20-13 because I am accounting for a possible defensive score in this game. But yeah, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe on the video. Until the recap, I bid you adieu.